So today's topic was inspired from our follower, Renee Smith. She commented and asked, how do we raise our kids now in the celebrity light? Or how has that changed? And so, you know what? Let's talk about how the whole thing has changed. Welcome to Fridays with Tab and Chance. I am Tabitha Brown, and this is my husband.
I'm Chance. What's up?
Bring the beat in. Fridays, Fridays with Tab and Chance. Ba-dum-bum-bum. Fridays with Tab and Chance. You know what I realized today?
You know what I like?
Let me
I
tell you
like
what
how you brought the snaps in later. That was dope. That was
I
fun.
just realized how important my snaps are to the beat.
Yeah, but you usually bring them in too early, but you brought them in right on time.
No, what I'm saying is your beat is weak without my snaps. Because I think last week I didn't do the snap because I was too busy dancing.
Say that again?
Because I was too busy dancing. Because somebody
One
got
more time for the camera.
Because I was dancing.
You was too busy dancing.
Somebody got to entertain the people. Because, you know, my son told you couldn't beatbox. So sometimes your beat ain't enough. But I just realized, like a snare drum, my snap, bam.
It's not a snare drum.
Hear it?
It's called a hi-hat. That's what it's called.
No, I'm saying just like a snare drum, how my snap is a snap drum. When I snap.
What are we talking about? Snap that. Snap out of it.
Chance Brown. How I love thee. Today we are talking about how success and now being in the limelight has changed our family, our children, our life, right? A lot of people always ask, like, how does it feel to be famous? Like, what does that feel like? And I be like, well, you know, it feels normal until we like go somewhere where it's like, oh wait, everybody know us type of thing. But I think it's important to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful. But there's layers and levels to it. It is definitely one of the main reasons I have turned down, and we have turned down, multiple reality show requests because it's just, it's already enough, right? What we do, I like to be in full control of what I post. When it comes to my family, I want my family to be comfortable and also respect their privacy when they want to live their life their way without judgment from the world. So we give what we desire to give. And even that still, the small amount that we've shown y'all or given y'all still has changed, I think, a lot of like our family and how other people see us as well. What do you think? How is it, babe, raising kids? And I mean, we really only have Quest in the house, and you know he's 11. And Quest, we still real regular. Like that's the one thing I have always has been important, whether I was famous or not, whether Chance was at home or working or not. When we home, I don't care what we do for work. When we home, we just mama and daddy, right? When Chance was a police officer, I'm like, I don't care about that authority. When you hit that door, you daddy and you my husband. When I hit this door, when we in here, we daddy and mama, husband and wife, Tab and Chance. That's it. But what you think, babe? Like, do you feel that you've had, or what has changed? Do you think anything has changed? Like as far as like,
absolutely. You know? How is it? It really just depends on. Overall, everything's been great, right? I mean, who don't love being loved, right? it is unfamiliar, and it's been a couple of years now, so it's getting a little bit more familiar. It can be a little unsettling. I guess that's the best way to put it. Because a lot of times I forget that me and Quest are known, and I always just put you in a box. But then when we travel and people's response now to us, it can be a little unsettling sometimes, because I'm always I think sometimes I'm dealing with imposter syndrome. Like, oh no, my wife is the one. She wrote the books, boy. My wife, my wife is the one who can, she do all the stuff. And then when people want to take pictures and stuff, I'm kind of like, all right, okay. And then I have to, deal with the anxieties and making sure that, I'm in my head. I'm constantly thinking about, I don't want to do nothing to embarrass my family. You know what I mean? Or I don't want to let these people down when they realize, man, I'm just a regular dude. Like, hey, I love her like y'all love her, right? So depending on the.
You love me a little different though.
Yeah, I mean, I love you more. But it just depends on the circumstances. But in regards to parenting, Quest make it real easy. He ain't, he's yet to do anything to where it concerns me as it pertains to celebrity.
He the same. He don't.
Yeah, like
Quest doesn't even really understand fame.
I try to be mindful myself with the things that we're able to have now and the things that we're able to do. And sometimes I think you are a little too mindful.
What you mean?
You won't treat yourself you get what I mean? Like,
I'm good.
So I have to be mindful of what Quest's eyes and his ears hear, and me being able to engage in. Just because we can, sometimes it does not. And just because we can and because I want to,
yeah,
I have to sometimes I have to think about, like, okay, we're in a new space. This new life has afforded us to do certain things, but how is it going to look with my son? Mm-hmm. I care about what he thinks. I care about what he takes in. I don't want there to ever be any issues of entitlement, and that consideration to me is a part of parenting. And you know what I mean?
Because when it comes to them kids, honey, we didn't work for this.
Yeah.
What Bill Cosby used to say, this is me and this is our money.
Yeah. Yeah. So in that, with that, it hasn't been that difficult. I think we touched on the entitlement in some of our circle. Our circle has become a little smaller because I think it affects this new space. It affects people differently. It can intimidate people. Mm-hmm. It can
bring the worst
out of people. It's one thing for you to say when you're sitting around with your people or sitting around with friends that one day, if this happens, so if I hit the lottery, let's just use that. Everybody had the lottery discussion. What would you do if you hit the lottery for X amount of dollars? It's one thing for you to say what you're gonna do, like, hey, like literally, this is what I would do if I hit. But when God allows you to hit and you actually do it, I mean, literally, what you said you were going to do, what I've learned is that it affects people. It bothers people, and people are upset at the fact, and all they can pinpoint is that you actually did it. And I know that sounds crazy, but that's, you know what I mean? Like that, hey, listen, if I ever hit the lottery, I want to have this kind of car. I want to do this. And then you say, hey, what you getting ready to do? I'm about to go get that car I said I always wanted. Right? And you got people that's happy for you, but then you have those that you'll see the energy shift, right? Things like that, that can make this new life
Bittersweet.
Bittersweet, right?
Yeah.
That you know, you don't understand when before you have these situations. Even with, you know, taking away the financial aspect of it, sometimes just even in being able to share in certain spaces, be at certain events, and you know, you share it and say, hey, man, we're getting ready to go do X, Y, and Z. 95% of the people are like, wow. And then you have those that's like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, but overall, I think it's been great. You know, of course, the other thing is that where there is this new space, there is very limited time with my wife and best friend. That's a different, you know what I mean? I don't think that everybody on the outside would really understand. They kind of see and they think,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
They think.
They think you just sitting at. They think you just sitting at the house.
All she do is sit at the house and do
all
videos.
she do is do videos. Nah.
I think that's the biggest, you know, for me, the biggest misconception is that, you know, people get to see maybe 5 or 10 minutes, depending on, I usually post like up to 3 posts a day, right? And each post is usually like either a minute or 90 seconds, or sometimes, you know, depending on me, because I get to talking, maybe 5-minute videos, 3-minute videos. So on average, people get to see 3 to 5-minute videos of me per day, and or of my family. And they take that, and in their mind, they think that's my whole life. Oh, that's all she did today is post a video. She ain't working. She, you know, her work ain't hard. That's easy, right? And I think that's it. It's a little bit heartbreaking because it discredits all the hard work that I do. But I give grace because I know people just don't understand, and they also don't know me personally or know my life. But I do find humor in it when people just think like, oh, her life is just this. But I miss my husband. I miss my children, right? And this is still new for me because prior to 3 years ago, I still took Quest to school every day. I still picked him up every day. I made his lunches. I cooked dinner every night. Like, I was still, even doing all this, I was still being mama 24/7, wife. Like, I was with my husband every day. Now I have to travel. I think right now I'm traveling every week for the next 6 weeks. So I'm missing a lot of things with my family, with my husband, with my son, who he's getting the best and worst experience, in my opinion, although he only sees it as the best. But as a mother and as a parent, I'm like, dang, my daughter got me every single day. You know, I was there every day, but she also got me sick. She got me depressed. He doesn't remember that part of me. So I have to think about like, oh, the positive part of that. But it's a lot of things I don't get to have when it comes to my family because of work. But I'm doing what I love that also is helping provide for my family. But people will, you know, have this own thought, I guess, around it. And this is something else that I actually did a video about this. When it comes to success, and I talked about this at an event as well. When people see that you're famous or successful, because people who, you know, you might have a business and you're successful and you making money, so people create this thought that you don't need anything anymore.
Yeah.
Right? They slowly start to forget about you. And when I say they start to forget about you, I don't mean they forget that you exist. They forget your humanity. They forget that you're a regular person just in your successful season. So we stop getting invited to things. I know me personally, I stopped getting checked in on or called or text. And the thing that I love the most, I'm a gift giver and I love gifts. I stopped receiving gifts from people. And the comments that I'll get is, girl, I know you got everything, so I ain't even get you nothing. And I'm thinking, dang, my thought is, I just want to be thought of. But now I realize, like, when people become famous or successful, people think that they have to have a certain thing. Like, it has to be, like, expensive or fancy or whatever. Like, no, it could be a card with something really meaningful that you wrote and took time to think. But I guess I like the downside of it, and it's more personal for me. Like that's what I feel outside of like, of course my immediate family, my husband, he always see me and he know I love gifts. Like he gonna always do that. And my children, but it's definitely one of those things where I realize that's what it has changed a lot. Grateful to have like a select amount of friends that do still check in on me, and that we do it for each other. But like you said, the circle has definitely gotten smaller. And even family changes, right? Some for the better. Like some of my old cousins, or not old cousins, but some of my cousins that when we were younger, we were super tight. And then as we grew up, of course, we moved and we weren't close anymore because we didn't get to see each other anymore. But now in this phase of life, like we've started talking more and we get to see each other more. So I get excited about that because I guess like out here when you try to find your village and when you become successful, it's kind of hard to trust people. Where I used to always trust everybody, that I found has changed a little bit inside of me. Because you used to have to be the person like, babe, you can't trust everybody.
Yeah.
I still like see the good in everybody, but now my guard is up because so many people have tried to, to hurt me in different ways. So, yeah.
It's crazy because it's one of those where you kind of say, did you really want me to succeed? Or were we just talking, right? Because a lot of the trust issues have presented themselves solely, not because of anything that you've changed. It's going back to what I said earlier. It's either I did what I said I was gonna do, or now because the perception of success is there and I'm still having the same conversation with you, you hear it differently. But it's the same conversation. Same conversation.
Now it's just real.
Now the house is a little bigger, right? I know you've seen me in a different way on your social media platforms. You've seen me in different, but the conversation is the same, and now it's received differently because of what you think. Because nobody knows, besides me and you, what we really have. Absolutely Nobody.
And won't never know.
Knows what we have. So I always say perception, right?
Yeah.
Which is weird. And even a couple of months ago, or a couple of weeks ago, when we was talking about normalizing positivity, nothing changed.
Right.
You've always been happy and putting out positive content and trying to be, a light for the world. But now, because perception is just different.
But also when people win, like people want you to win until you win. Like I just was watching something, I forget what it was, but they just showed like how people will build you up to tear you right back down. It's just what happens. Like, oh, we was looking at air.
Yeah.
It's the truth. Like people gonna build you up, and then when you get up, they're gonna be like, they're gonna cheer for you for a little bit of time, and then they're gonna start trying to pull you back down. I think that's the thing, like with my kids, I'm so protective of them. I don't want them to ever be affected by it. I know Choice has already experienced things, Leah has already experienced things, but Quest is so innocent right now. Like he's not on social media like that. He doesn't know that world yet. And it's the nasty part of the world.
It is, but the other thing too, it has not affected me, I don't think, the same way that it affects my wife, and not solely because she's at the front. She's the person that the majority of the world wants to see, right? And as it pertains to our family, but this is where I'm appreciative of the law enforcement world, because. And just during, even before that, who I was before that, I keep a small circle. And I don't really do a whole lot outside of that small circle. you're more of an outgoing, people-going person. You know what I mean?
Chance be looking at y'all like,
Yeah, hey, look,
what's up?
it is. So, you know what I mean? Like, I'm more of that. So it's more, I look at it and I'm thankful.
Yeah.
Our life has changed in a way that I could have never imagined. I do enjoy and love the new relationships that we've built with some outstanding people. I don't, you know what I mean? Like Kev and Melissa.
Yes.
My boy Tank, you know, even Lena. There's been quite a few people who, in the beginning, they came and it was conversations, and you know, they was telling us like, "Hey, this is what it's gonna look like."
Lena told us years ago, like, when things, hey, 3 years ago, she said, literally sat at this table.
Yeah.
And she said, "Let me tell you what's about to happen." And I was thinking, like, we kinda in the start of it, but I hope it don't get that bad.
Yeah.
It got that bad, Lena. Girl, you was right.
And
you tried to tell us.
And
it got that good.
And it got that good, right? So
yeah.
I want to make sure that that's understood. That you know, I keep going back to the positive stuff because I was having this conversation yesterday with somebody, and they was like, "But man, are you happy?" And I'm like, "Absolutely, I'm happy, right?" I'm just gonna state the obvious, right? This is what I feel like people really want to know. Our lives and futures have been changed. Our grandkids' lives have been changed. Yep, and we know that, right? And if that's what matters the most. So I don't want to, you know what I mean? The things that we're able to do, we weren't able to do just 2-3 years ago, traveling to Dubai and, you know, even sharing stage with certain people and being able to put a stamp in the history books. My wife is Emmy nominated, New York best time seller. Those are things that my grandkids and great grandkids will be able to tap into and find with the Brown name on it, right? So these things I'm not gonna lose sight of, and I need people to really be able to understand that we are appreciative of it, and that despite all this other stuff, this is just stuff that has come with that territory. Those things are the things that I choose to look at. There's times where I get, you know, I'm like, man, I can't believe I'm having to have this conversation with this person, or that they had the nerve to ask me that. Yeah. But I'll take those conversations just to be able to say, just to be able to be an old man. I hope that I live to be 90 or 100 and something years old, and my great grandkids can bring me one of my wife's books and be like, man, Granny, this is, you know what I mean? Or pull something up and say, this was we're forever there. Yeah. And I'm proud of that stuff. I'm thankful for it. And those things make this new life great for me. To see my wife in Target, to walk through Target and me forget, like, man, to me, I'm going to Target to go get some deodorant. You know what I'm saying? I'm walking up in there and I'm just like, hey, I'm going to get some deodorant. And see my wife's face. And to see people like standing around her aisle and like in a little frenzy trying to buy the popcorn and all that stuff, man. And my son to be able to witness that, man, that's the best. Man, I don't care. I don't know a person who wouldn't want to experience that. I love it. I absolutely love it. To be in the Starbucks window, and when I pull up and the little girl is she giving me my coffee and then tell me, she look at me and freak out and look through my car like looking for my wife. Like that's an amazing feeling. And I'm not too proud to say that. I love that feeling. I love when people want to hold my wife in high praise, and people come up and they want to tell me how much they love her and how much she helped them over COVID, and their mothers and their fathers have started eating better, and even us as a family. I love when my folks come up and they like, man, y'all leading by example. Y'all are doing something good. Because there was a moment in my life where I didn't know whether I was doing my part in this world. Where I'm like, man, I hope when I leave here that I have done something to contribute to this earth, to doing something, you know, that helps my people and the generation behind me. And when you have confirmation of that, a lot of people don't get to live to have confirmation to where you have people like us, regular people who coming up and they saying, to me, regular people, right, for regular things. I ain't been in no Bad Boys 2, 3. I ain't did no dunking and no NBA. I ain't preached no sermons to touch people and be able to go grab from a biblical standpoint. Literally, all I've done is been a husband and tried to do my best job at being a decent parent and a decent human being and standing by my best friend and my wife. So when somebody comes up to me and they say, man, you and your family, I appreciate it. Y'all are a good look for us. Man, I'm starting to do this for my wife because of you. Or I have a better understanding of this for my husband as a result of you. That is the most amazing feeling. And then when I have my own close friends that I thought, man, we talked about everything. At least I thought we did. And they come up to me and be like, man, I never heard it like that or seen it or thought about it like that. I love you for that, bro. And even my mom, to touch her in ways that I didn't know it was a big deal for you, Mom. To put that sense of pride on her face and watch how she moves about now with her shoulders back and big old smile on her face. You know, just for being her son. That's literally what it is, right? To just be like, hey, to see my father-in-law look at his daughter and be like, just for him before my mom and before our parents leave this earth, to be able to make them proud, every last bit of it is worth it. I would do it again over and over. Every last bit of it. Just to know, I don't have too much anxiety because my son is still very grounded, and you know, he most of the times we be like, hey, we gotta go to one of them. Man, mama gotta do something again. He's very normal, so
why are those people gonna be over there?
Man, I don't want. You know, he's a little boy, so that tells me we've done a great job at keeping him grounded, and away from the celebrity aspect of it. I will tell you something that with that last sentence that is very difficult in a space a hard space to kind of navigate. I don't like to say we're celebrities.
I know, me either. I just be like, successful.
Yeah.
You know, there is fame. We know that.
I don't like to say fame either.
The only reason is because that's when we know it is when we go out and everybody know us, even though we don't know them. It's because you're famous, right? Because nobody knows what the CEO of Starbucks looks like. No, but everybody knows Starbucks, right? Mm-hmm. So I have to understand, like, Starbucks is famous because of their name, like, and their product. I am my own brand, so I have to come to that understanding of like, oh wait, I am famous. Like my family, I share with the world, so my family also is famous. Not famous like, oh, you a famous celebrity. Like, no, famous because we are known. That's kind of how I look at it too, babe. But that's also kind of like, I guess, imposter syndrome with thinking like, oh, I don't deserve that title. But the other day I had a interview and somebody was asking me like, how do I overcome imposter syndrome? And what I realized is that I believe that I'm living the life God planned for me, right? I'm doing the work. I'm showing up. I'm being obedient. I'm absolutely supposed to have this life, right? And so I deserve it. My family deserves it. Everything I ever dreamt, saw, and spoke has come to pass. Everything I said I would do when it came, I've done, right? He honors that. You know, one of the things we, like you used to say, we used to sit around and talk about winning the lottery all the time. Like, what we're gonna do if we get $2 million? What we do if we got $10 million? Like, all the things we used to be like, always like, I want to make sure that my daddy ain't got no bills. Your mama ain't got no bills. My sister, like, I want to take care of all these people. We did everything we said we were going to do, We just hit the lottery in a different way. It was a success.
We hit
But
God's lottery.
we hit God's, like this was his jackpot for us. And so I believe my obedience has granted me the life that he planned for me and that he promised me that I could have. And I'm still just getting started. I feel like we just at the beginning. And so the way that it has now affected us, you know, or it hasn't changed us, just changed where we live, changed our bank account, changed, like you said earlier, things that we can do and afford. But honey, my favorite thing is still going home to North Carolina and seeing my aunts and my cousins, my daddy. Honey, when we out there, I be like, the other week when we were there for Target, I was so happy. It was like a family reunion. I was like, I'm home. You know, we home. Nothing, we don't change. It's like the people around us change how they see us. We start to look different for some reason. I don't know. But we the same Tab and Chance. And our kids are proof of that because they are literally the same. They don't see any different either. So
I would like to say this.
yeah.
Okay, be mindful of asking someone in this situation, right? Like, how is it? If it can make you insecure.
What I'm hearing is that, you know, some people do ask about your life, right? Some people ask us, like, how does it feel to be famous? Or how does it feel to have all your dreams coming true? Or, you know, have your dream home or whatever the case may be. And sometimes I think even in telling them how it feels, or describing, you know, the moments that things happen, it can, maybe their reaction can be, they can be taken back, but maybe they're processing, but it can still be inspiring. I think sometimes, like when you use the word insecurity, I think that there is a lady did a topic on this called good jealousy. There's a positive jealousy, right? It means that you still desire to have more in life. Not that you're hating on the person, because what they have is just that, like, that just pushed me. I want more, right? I want to do more. This also lets me know my dreams can come to pass. So I don't necessarily think there's a way to prepare yourself for that. I think however you react, then that tells you what work you need to do inside. It doesn't really matter what someone else has or doesn't have.
Yeah, or that's kind of it. It's just this thing that I'm always concerned about. I don't want you to now start looking at your life as like, you know what I mean? So it makes me reluctant to answer the question. If the energy shift, it's like, okay, but then I don't want to be shamed, or I want to share in the blessing and I want to inspire. However, there's times where I'm like, I got regular shoes, or I got, you know, it's regular, you know, but then I feel like, man, I wish I could have really told them that God is good in this way. That, yeah, I'm doing everything, but I'm a little hesitant at times because God is blessing us in a way that I wish that I felt comfortable enough to really share and be like, hey, this is what he doing for us, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm not. I'm like, well, I just keep it vague and be like, man, yeah, good, man. God's good.
I think you miss the opportunity of really showing what God can do.
Yeah.
Based on your thought of how other people are perceiving you, right? It's not because now you're judging them. You understand? So that shouldn't be the case. It should just be like, God is amazing. Like, he has blessed us. You don't necessarily got to go into full details.
But see that, yeah, there it is.
You know what I'm saying?
There it is right there. That's what I'm getting at. So now I can explain it. So they're asking for details. You get what I mean? Specifics. Like, God is good. Man, our life has changed. We're able to do a lot of great things, whatever, man. Hey, dog. So what kind of cars you driving right now? It's specifics, right?
This must be men talk.
No, it's just, yeah, it is. A lot of time it is, but it can be specifics, but then when you give them, it's kind of like, oh man, you see the energy shift and there's this thing that happens. And I'm like, oh, okay, I probably shouldn't have shared that much.
But you got to remember,
didn't receive that well.
That how they respond is not on you.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, I think that, for me, I always keep it neutral. People don't know what I drive. It don't really matter because I'm still mad the Volkswagen van didn't come out. I wanted the Scooby-Doo van. They were supposed to be making it electric. Until I get that, I'm just driving whatever. That's really what I want, Volkswagen. Sorry.
You driving whatever?
I'm just saying, I want that car.
Tab.
Anywho.
You driving whatever?
I got a nice car, but what I'm saying, to me, it don't matter because I really want the Volkswagen electric van. I want the neon green with the white top. Mm-hmm. I do.
Okay.
The electric, or the canoe, whoever come out first. Anyway, stay focused. So
going back. How is this life, this new popularity, how is it in general life?
Overall, God is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
He has blessed us in abundance. If he don't do nothing else, he has done enough, right? My family is taken care of. Like you said, grandchildren that we ain't even got yet are taken care of. We are so blessed. And I'm grateful. I'm super grateful how it has changed, everybody. I be laughing at my dad and your mama, Diane, honey, they be posing for their pictures, honey. They love it too, honey. They feel like they local celebrities too. They like, and like you said, it's funny that you said it about your mom and my daddy is just being proud while being here on this earth. That's a conversation me and my daddy had today. He was like, man, I could have never dreamt in a million years the experiences that you've given me.
Mm-hmm.
He said to walk in Target and see myself, like, that alone. And I was intentional with that. Right? I was intentional because in 1997, my daddy picked me up from school because I quit college studying fashion design. And the conversation I told my daddy, one day, Dad, I'm gonna make good on this. I'm gonna be famous one day and I have my own clothing line. And not only did I have a clothing line at Target, I had food, I had furniture, I had accessories, I had everything. And my daddy got to be a part of that. And so I made good on my promise, and he lived to be able to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And not only just see it, but be in it. He was in the promise. And man, all of that is amazing.
Well worth it.
It was well worth it, and I'm so grateful. Of course, there is always there's a good side and there's a bad side, but the good will always outweigh the bad. And I always try to focus on the good, but I am human. So sometimes the negative parts weigh heavy on my heart. But here I am.
All right.
Look, here we is. So.
All right, I think we touched on that. We
very good.
Answered that question.
Look, one thing before we leave is when it comes to the kids, especially with Choice, y'all stop tagging me when Choice posts her modeling shoots or whoever she dating in the moment. I don't care. That girl is grown, okay? We support her career and her modeling. She knows not to do nothing to disrespect this family or to disrespect herself. But she's a grown woman, about to be 22, okay? She is making her decisions for her career.
And we're proud of her.
And we are very proud of her. And yeah, and listen, honey, she is dating who she's supposed to be dating. But we always say, honey, until somebody put a ring on it, they all just your friends. So it don't matter. So anywho, y'all, all y'all aunties and uncles and grandmas and grandpas out there who think that y'all really are her aunt and uncle and grandpas and cousins, don't be tagging, trying to tell on her. Oh, you see this photo shoot? Did you see Choice? Did you? Yeah, we see it. Shani, she lives 2 minutes down the road and she here every week.
2 minutes.
Leave that girl alone and let her live her life. That's why I be trying to, Lord, I'm glad we ain't had social media when we was 22. Because, honey, we wouldn't have made it.
Wouldn't did no good.
It wouldn't did no good. Anywho, that's it. Anything else?
That's it.
All right, we love y'all. Thank you for our t-shirts. What's the name of this company again? The I Am. The I Am Experience. Greensboro, North Carolina. When we were there, y'all gave us these t-shirts. We thank you. We love y'all. And until the next time, honey, y'all go about y'all business and have the most amazing day. But even if you can't have a good one, don't you dare go messing up nobody else's. Talk to y'all later. Bye.